I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Martin Luther King Day means to me is reflecting on everything we've been through and just seeing the way that the world's changed due to what he did for us.
Martin Luther King Day means to me that everybody is in a celebration of what Martin Luther King has done for our country.
Martin Luther King Jr. Means inspiration. He means hope. He means vision.
And the Almighty said to me, Martin Luther King, which age would you like to live in?
I think Kent-Meridian wouldn't be what it is today because Kent-Meridian as a school, we're really diverse, and we wouldn't be without Martin Luther King because before we were just like all the other schools in America.
It's a day where African Americans can come together and know that they have their freedom.
It's a really special day to everyone because he brought equalness to us today, and without him our lives would be very different.
I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars.
I think he just made, like he preached, he made everyone equal and had everyone have equal rights and be one.
Celebrating that everyone is equal, people are equal, and that doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, or even the color of your skin. People have the right to be who they want, to express themselves in any way without having to worry about people discriminating against them, without people putting them down because they happen to think differently.
He really allowed us to open our eyes and enjoy the people around us for what they have to offer and what they have just in general, and not just by the color of their skin or where they've come from.
We don't have to argue with anybody. We don't have to curse and go around acting bad with our words.
Martin Luther King was a very important person in our history, mostly because of the civil rights movement. But the reason that I hold him in such high respect and in such high esteem is that he did his work through peace and through prayer, and it wasn't through violence, and it wasn't with guns. He did everything peacefully, and that's what I think is his greatest legacy, is that he leaves us with the ability to fight against the system peacefully and without violence.
For me, it's a day to celebrate equality and that everybody has rights.
I believe that by his hard work, it's changed the world by giving people the chance to interact with each other and not with their own.
I think one of the things that Martin Luther King did through his movement and with the nonviolence was help us move forward at a much more accelerated pace than what we would have achieved had he not been a leader in the movement. Nonviolence allowed for people to see injustice in real time. Television was in the living rooms of Americans at that time, and they were able, through his actions of nonviolence, he was able to see the violent reaction to the fight for equal rights. And so as a result of Martin Luther King being the leader of that movement and being patient and willing to encourage nonviolence, as a result, I think that we as a society have moved forward at a much faster pace. And while there's still work to be done, I think that the position that we're in today is a direct result of Martin Luther King and his nonviolent movement.
I think he's given people a better outlook on how people should be treated.
African Americans being equal to whites, Mexicans, Asians, every race, everyone's equal now.
Martin Luther King Day means to me, it means just diversity and like equality.
We've got to see it through. Let us develop a kind of dangerous unselfishness.
Right now, we go to a school that's different, that's very diverse.
We really needed someone to kind of make it okay for us to speak up and make it okay for us to accept other cultures and other diversities.
If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have had a chance later that that year in August to try to tell America about a dream that I had. If I had sneezed.
Without Martin Luther King, we would still be in a segregation mode where everyone would be disconnected from each other, and thus the school would not be here today because we are the most diverse school in Washington State.
I think he not only brought equality and helped with that, I think he inspired people to not only be equal and treat people as your equal.
Everyone has the right to be who they are.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop.
Martin Luther King brought a realization to the world that we are being immoral and unethical by the separation of human beings for a color on our face.
We get to celebrate all the diversity that we have because he brought us all together by speaking up.
It really changed our mindsets and contributed to our diversity.
He did a lot to change the way the society is today, and that means a lot to me because I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for him.
Now, what does all of this mean in this great period of history? It means that we've got to stay together. We've got to stay together and maintain unity.
Martin Luther King Jr. gave his life so others can live theirs with the freedom of choice, the freedom of will, the freedom to do the things that they would want to do but couldn't because others wouldn't allow them to do those things. So as we go out and we celebrate MLK Day, we don't want to just celebrate a day off, a day of hanging out with friends, with family members, with loved ones, but we want to go out into the community and we want to show those who have no true definition of what community service means to give back to the community. We want to continue to live the legacy that Dr. King would want us to do by giving back to the community and doing for those who necessarily can't do for themselves.